sounds rather morbid, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Our next guest has created a book called The Last Rites, or Last Rites. It's a manual for mortality and a practical guide which allows people to pass on both their perspectives and their preferences for everything related to their death. This doesn't need to be sombre. It can be positive and fun, you see. It all came about after co-creator Penny Tucker found her mum's own musings after she passed, and now she has created a manual to share with all of us. Penny, g'day. Good morning.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
I'm sorry about your mum. Your mum just recently died.
Yes, she did a few weeks ago.
Okay, and so she left her instructions where?
She left it. She had been writing in this book, which she had told us about, and it was very prescriptive, as was my mother. But for me, it was amazing because when she died, it set out what she wanted for her funeral, really detailed wishes, things that she thought about death, which made it, for me, so much of an easier process because she was very relaxed about dying.
So you just followed the manual, and did you follow all her orders? Because
I've followed her orders down to the letter, and I'm still doing that.
Right, okay. And how detailed was she? Did she get to finish this? Because it was
she didn't finish hers. And I was talking to my my very good friend Rebecca Svitzer, who has designed this book, about what it is that we would put in it that maybe Mum missed. And then we started to think, if there was a model there and you could follow it, and it had some fun things in it, as well as really practical things. Well,
it makes you think. I mean, initially I thought, okay, so it's a book and, you're writing it. But then, as I was holding it this morning, I looked at page 44. If my life could be summarised, and you used quotes, they would include. So these are your last rites. These are your last words. This is what you leave your kids with, your partner with, or whatever, or the world with, isn't it? You've got to think about this.
Yeah. So it's designed to be a real blend of the practical, but also with some reflections and allowing people to articulate messages that they might not have been clear about with people.
What's on your headstone? What's on your headstone, Mark? What's on your headstone, Amanda?
Well, there's a section in there where you can actually put it down.
Yes.
Because I actually fear death a little bit. It does scare me. And does this help you get through that a little bit and be a bit more practical and a bit more sort of loving and even a bit of humour in there?
Yeah, well, I sat down with my my brother Joe and my sister Rach, and we thought about everything that Mum wanted, and we went through some of the key messages in the book. And I just felt, I mean, for me, it's like a voice beyond the grave. And I hope that people use it as a constructive and positive voice. I mean, that's the idea of it. But I could almost hear Mum talking. You know, when she sort of said, "I will disinherit anybody at my funeral that speaks for more than 2 minutes. I hate it when sort of, great Uncle Arthur blathers on and you just want to get to the canapes." That was all set out.
Now, these are my passwords. Does anyone even get that accurately right?
Well, it's amazing how much money in the world is never actually reconciled with families because people just don't know that, Mum had some bonus bonds or another bank account that wasn't part of the mainstream. So it is really this combination of practical and some sort of whimsical.
If every life is a journey, the milestones and potholes I feel most strongly about are. So, you've kept it light as well in places.
Do you reread it, what your mother has written? Obviously, it's been a couple of weeks, but is it quite special when you get that time to reread?
I do. And my friend Rebecca, who put this together with me, her husband lost his mum from cancer really early, and there was nothing written messages for him. And imagine if you could look at a book and see something that your mum had been thinking about, even if it's, every day I wake up and I feel blessed to have a baby like you. Something that simple.
Yeah, no, this covers everything.
You don't have to make a meal of it. You don't have to fill in every section. But if you do want to write something, then that's the structure that'll make it easy for you. So, because we don't talk about death very easily in this day and age, and it's awful because if I say to you, Duncan, here's a book of last rites, and you're suddenly thinking, well, do I look peaky? When in actual fact, it's something that I think is a gift to your family, and that's the spirit.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Together.
Yeah, it makes it easier for them. Yeah.
I think sentimentally, this would be the most valuable thing in the house. But what about for those people who they're terminal? It would be quite good therapy, wouldn't it? Just getting everything down in one
Yeah,
of these
I think
books.
so. I think so. And then there's also other bits of it, like how many people have ticked the box on their driver's license to say, I really want to donate organs,
Yeah, I've done
younger
that, actually.
people.
Well, I've done that, yeah.
But then their families turned around and said, we don't want that. Well, if you can explain in a book like Last Rites why it is that you feel passionate about the decisions that you've made, about your death, I think people are likely to respect them more.
Would you? I love the way here, like you can, like I could be quoted at my funeral. That's what I quite like. Well, but would you read out the nasty stuff as well? If I decided, right, I'm going to have a crack at all the people I don't like here, and I'm going to force someone to read it out.
Well, at your funeral, that could be the case.
With all your friends.
Yeah, with all of your friends.
that will
Why
be
don't you
there.
do this? Why don't we pre-record your message to those people? You could do it yourself. You could be right down the barrel doing it to them, like 30 years earlier, just so they stick around. What do you reckon?
Well, you can say what you like. The fact is, they don't have the right to reply, do they?
No, they don't.
But I do love the fact that you can steer the direction of the speeches that are made at your funeral. So things are said that you want said.
It's
I
a
love
good.
it.
It's a good size. It feels good, and we're going to give some of these away as well. So we've got a bunch of these to give away. Email us if you would like this. There's no quiz. There's no test. It's all about dying. So you don't have to be close to death either. Remember, you can just be you can be living well, but it will come in handy. It definitely come in handy. So feedback at the amshow.co.nz. If you want one, just grovel and say you really like one. Just do your best grovel or something like that. Penny, lovely to see you.
Lovely.
Every best.
Thank
And
you.
so,
Lovely
once again,
to
sorry
be
about
here.
your mum as well.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Been through
That's
that.
kind.
Lost a parent before, I know.
Nice that your
Another
mum
deal.
sounded delightful, though,
Oh,
especially with
she was
the...
lovingly known as the matriarch from hell, but we appreciated every minute of her
Oh,
time.
she like that, was she?
She was quite staunch.
There's a
yes.
few of them like that, though, aren't there?
Yeah.
She's not alone on that.
Nope.
And thank you to my mum who beautifully looked after my son at the weekend for his birthday, and lovely cake and everything. Thanks, Mum. Your sacrifice has not gone unnoticed. Lovely to see you.
Thank you.
That, of course, is Last Rites co-creator Penny Tucker.